Hello, this is Denver McMurray. I'm your instructor for Physics 1415 online, this summer course. Um, Actually getting this done the weekend before Memorial Day, so I'm actually a weekend a little bit ahead of time instead of doing it the night before the course releases on Sunday. So I'm trying to set a good example, all right? So let's get started. The course, I'm just going to go through the course and kind of explain a little bit of how it works and all that kind of stuff. Once you get to the course page, it will look something like this. Yours will look slightly different. This is the teacher page, things like that. Um, just for a thing, there's nothing right now, but over here where it says coming up, nothing is coming for the next week because the course is not open yet. But this would be basically where it will list any assignments that are due within the next week or so. All right. And there's also a view calendar. If you go to the view calendar, then it should give you a calendar which has all the different assignments due. Of course, this is May, so let me get over to June. Should be some stuff there. There we go. All right, so there's all your stuff. Tells you kind of when they're due and stuff like that. So that kind of makes it easy to see when things are coming up also, but there's always that page on the actual homepage that does that too, so whichever you prefer to use. All right. Both should help you get there on track, kind of see what's coming up. That only tells you the due date, does not tell you when they're open. We'll talk more about that in a minute, but there you go. Basically, here's a click on the front page. You come down a little bit. Well, first of all, there's a couple things here. There's a course welcome. That's going to be basically the same information that's down here below, but they want it both places, so we did it their way. Okay. Also, a course syllabus and policies, which is pretty much what you see down here also. So really, the front page kind of takes care of those two things. However, there are some good things. There are roots, which are student resources. Lots of different things here. You can see financial aid, admissions, all that kind of stuff, student resources that you can use, health and wellness, and so on. Lots of good stuff there. So feel free to browse that and look for things that will help you out. All right. However, there's also tech help. This is probably a biggie, especially for our online course. Anytime you have a question, there's a lot of things here that it has different tech resources and so forth. But one of the biggest ones is probably the help desk. All right. If something's happening, you can click on a ticket request and tell them what's happening, explain it, and they will usually get back to you within a day or two. If something happens because you can't submit an assignment or something like that because you can't get something to work on your computer, or the browser, lockdown browser, is not working properly or something like that, just let me know and we'll work around that. So you hopefully won't miss a deadline or anything because of waiting for them to get back to you. They usually do a pretty good job. But yeah, that's that. That'd be a big thing. If something goes wrong with the computer, it's always good to send me an email. It may be something going on with my end. Sometimes the due dates or something don't load properly, or something doesn't publish like it's supposed to. So let me know. But usually, a lot of times, I'm going to end up saying, "Hey, put in a tech ticket. It sounds like something your computer is not talking to their computer or whatever, and that's more in their category. My tech help is basically unplug it, plug it back in, and restart it and see what happens. And so much beyond that, I can't help you. But that's a very good resource also. Okay, so if you need tech support, that's a good one. If you need the Roots has a lot of other resources that are there. Now, getting to the actual course, this is a video, which is not this video because I'm making this video right now, but it will be this video, and you can click it and watch all this exciting stuff. Again, if you would like to, if you're already watching this one, I'm going to try to email this out before the course starts, okay? But yeah, that's what that is. There's also a place to click for the syllabus. This is just a web page where it is, and it goes through it. We'll talk more about that in a second. But there is also a place, if you are like me, it's always nice to kind of have a paper copy as well. You can click here to get a printable copy in a Word document or as a PDF, whichever works best with whatever you're trying to download it on. Okay, so let's just go to the syllabus real quick, and then we will come back and go through the rest of the web page and kind of show how the website works. All right, syllabus. Obviously, I don't really have an office to speak of. I'm at email, and I'm open all the time, but obviously, I'm not going to be available all the time. So any questions, send me an email. I will try to get back to you. If it's a deadline thing, like, oh, it's 10 o'clock at night and the quiz is due at midnight, I may not be able to get back to you before the deadline or whatever. So obviously, the sooner you do things and give me a heads up, I can help you with. But if you need me to do something and for some reason we need to extend the deadline or something, just let me know. But email, some people think, wow, he's really efficient because if I haven't been on my computer and you send me an email, I can jump right on it. Other times, I don't have where email pops up every second. Otherwise, I spend my whole life checking emails. So I try to check a couple times a day. So it may be a while before I check a couple hours. Okay. But anyhow, like I said, if there's something with a deadline, I'll try to give you credit for that, and we'll give you an extension or something if we need to. All right, course description. Basically, this first course, the physical science course, is non-life science courses for the most part, and this first section, or 1415, is physics. All right, and we're going to concentrate on how they work. We're not going to do a lot of the math. We'll talk about math. We'll certainly talk about formulas and what they mean. But we're not going to spend a lot of time on that. I'm more in that you understand the principles and how they work in general and what affects them versus doing lots and lots of math problems. All right, I'm not a math teacher for a reason. They're easier to grade because there's a right answer every time and a wrong answer. But other than that, we will be doing some basic math, but not a lot of in-depth math. All right. The textbook for this class is an online book that comes with your subscription, or when you buy it, first day access or whatever, called the Physical Universe. It's available. I'm going to tell you this, okay? If you can, I would go in, and I believe it has an option where you can opt out, and I think you'll get your money refunded for the book. I would recommend you do that. This book does not correlate very well. It's very high math with a lot of problems and stuff like that. It doesn't really fit very good with the content that we've always covered in this course. So I would not recommend that book. Okay, if you can opt out and get your money back, that's what I would do. All right, what I would recommend that you do is get this book. Now, this book may be kind of hard for you to read there because it's mirror image. Sorry about that. But Conceptual Physical Science Explorations. There's one without the explorations in it, which will work. But frankly, this one's a little easier to use. It is done by Hewitt, Suzuki, I guess, and Hewitt. Hewitt is father-daughter, and then the Suzuki is the chemistry kind of person that does the chemistry part of it. But anyhow, it should have that kind of picture on it, something like that. Make sure you just don't get a lab book, get the actual textbook. Most of it's going to be a paperback, although I've seen hardbacks, but whatever. You can usually get online, find one of these for under $20, okay? And so they're very inexpensive. So if you would like a book, that would be the one I recommend you get. However, to be honest, most people have been able to take the course, or a lot of people have. Over half my students probably say they did not buy the book and seem to do okay. I've kind of designed it so that if you look at the lectures, you look at the activities and whatever, you should be able to pass without. You can get all the information you need. It's just if you want something to look up things, to reinforce it, whatever, if that helps you, by all means, I would recommend getting the physical science, conceptual physical science explorations book. Okay, I still always have a couple people at the end of the year say, "What? There was a book?" So anyhow, there is that book available, but I would not recommend the one that's online that comes with a course. I would opt out of that. All right, so enough of that. Course content, primarily can be videos, which have a lecture, not just thrill a minute. But the good news is they're usually about 15 minutes long, so you don't get overwhelmed by information. If you fall asleep halfway through, you don't have to scan as far to find where you left off or the last part you remember. So anyhow, those will be there. Those are that. I also have some demos and demonstrations I try to do in my in-person classes. Not the greatest camera work, but they overall work pretty good too, I think. However, your actual library will come from Pivot Labs that are accessed through the module links. And these are actually take you to a Pivot website, which is a different website, and they have video-based labs that really are pretty good. They're not perfect, but they have some are better than others. Some will be fairly short. Some will take a while. So allow time. I would allow at least an hour, maybe a little more, a little less. Like I said, some will be smaller, shorter. Some will be a lot longer. So don't wait till last minute, 10 minutes till midnight, and say, "Oh, I'm going to zip through it." Well, you're probably not going to be able to do that. Okay. So allow for an hour, give or take a little bit, to do those. They're on a separate website. Sometimes there are complications, so let me know if there's anything that you're not sure about or how to do it. Occasionally we get some questions that will not answer correctly for some reason. Don't know why. But anyhow, any kind of thing like that, let me know, and we will see what we can do to fix it. All right, course grading, we'll have 4 exams, and we'll have a final exam. The exams are going to be 65% of your grade, so obviously they're important. The final exam grade will be comprehensive. You have to take it. But if that final exam is higher than one of your early exams, you can use it to replace the lower one. Okay, so it will definitely count as your 5th grade, but it can be used to replace one of your earlier grades. All right, 25% of your lab will be on the quizzes that we have on each unit, 2 a week basically, and the labs themselves, and 10% will come from review questions and other little assignments and stuff. So that's basically how that will work. There are note outlines for each chapter. If they help you, by all means use them. Some people seem kind of angry that they are useless. Well, don't use them. Get your own handwritten notes. That's fine. I just left kind of a bare bones outline that's been heavily redacted. And so if it helps you, use them. If it doesn't help you, do not. Okay. Late work makeups, obviously, if it's late, it will be penalized. Certainly turn anything in early. And please do not send it by email unless you've kind of checked with me to make sure it's okay. Sometimes if something's late and sorry closed, I'll say, hey, just email the questions to me or something, and it'll be easier that way. But just keep in mind, they can be taken off. Grading criteria is pretty straightforward. A, B, C, D, 10-point increments there. And there's your percentages again. This is a chart of the different units, roughly when they begin, when they stop. Basically, the first one we say starts on Monday, the next one starts on Thursday, and the next one. So you have basically 2 units a week, so it's a pretty double pace compared to a regular 16-week course. So that will be challenging. So you stay on top of that. And tests will be available online, major exams, and also quizzes. But there will be a 3-day spread usually that you can get on and take those exams. Okay, and this tells you which chapters will be covered. The first 2 exams will be 4 chapters, the next 2 will be 3, and then of course the last one will be the whole enchilada, or everything is available on that one. It is a comprehensive final. All right, so if we go back home, let me show you this. On my front page, I have this. Some people like to go straight to the modules, fine, same difference. But as you get to the later ones, it's easier to come to the front page and just click on the thing and it'll take you to that unit. Okay. There's an intro course materials. There's a few things that you'll need to do right off the bat. There's an introduction where you just tell me a little bit about yourself, send a picture if you want to, whatever, just kind of get to know you a little bit while you're taking the course, things like that. Academic integrity policy, which is basically says you're not going to cheat, and the online student policy, which basically you check off a box that says I will not cheat online, and hopefully we expect you to do that, to stick to that. Okay, these are very quick. You notice they're only worth 5 points apiece. All right, but don't forget to do them. All right, then we go to the first unit, the second unit, third unit, and then at the 4th unit, there'll be an exam and so forth. Let's look at the second unit, unit 2 first. This is typically what most units will look like. You will have notes, which is the outline, not the actual full notes, and there's a PDF or Word doc, whichever works best for you. Then there are videos. These are the lecture videos. All right, for each one, like I said, they're usually about they're usually 4 to 5. Some may actually have 6. Some may only have 2, but mostly 3 to 5. And like I said, there will be about 15 minutes. Okay, and so you can watch those, take your notes, and that's hopefully where you learn all the information. Okay. Then if we go back to our modules, after the lecture video notes, then there are the questions. All right, questions, just for the record, all of them are available from June 2nd on. So if you want to go do all 14 chapters or units of questions, you can do that as of now. Okay, you may submit them by, I believe this has a text box where you can, when you look at it, we'll give you a text box that you can enter things, or you can do them on Microsoft Word or PDF. There's a place where you can download the questions here for a Word document, or here's a PDF, and you can put the answers in there and then upload those documents. Totally up to you. Either way works. It's fine. There's pluses and minuses. Just kind of depends which is best for you. Okay, so they're all available, so you can do those whenever you would like. All right, and then there will be a pivot lab. The pivot lab will hopefully take you to this. First thing there'll be is a lab preview. If you click on this, it kind of walks you through the lab, tells you how to use whatever video tools they'll have you click on, and just kind of walks you through the lab. And I think are very helpful. Without those, it was bad. But once we made those videos, I think that really helped everybody. But then if you want to go to the actual lab, you click on this. Now this is what I see, not use. So it's going to take me to the scores. So it'll take me a second here. I'll have to click on this. Yours will probably go straight directly to this, something that looks like this. And this is what the assignment will look like. Once again, there's a place to click for a video. This is one I made, so it's the same one that is on the other one, but wherever you want to click on it, then it will take you through this. Most of them are going to have a video of some sort where they show something happening. They will have some kind of tools like a ruler. Forget what that one is exactly. I think you just put the dot somewhere. Timer, just for the, say you get halfway through the video and you want to set that as 0 because that's where it starts. The actual experiment, you can click this button, it'll reset it to 0 and so forth. But we'll explain those in the videos as you need them, okay? Then you're going to have questions that you will answer. All right, some are open-ended that I will have to come back and grade. Some will be automatically graded while you do the lab, okay? You will, a lot of times there will be where you put time in seconds, all right? And then you will distance, and then you will put it on a graph, all right? Those are ones that sometimes people have trouble with, so I'll work on that, and then just other questions, and then eventually you will submit the lab when you are finished. So those are the ping pong labs. They're not one for most chapters will have one. A couple toward the end do not, and some will have a couple small ones. Okay, but those are what you'll need to do for each unit, basically. All right. So go back to our module, and then finally for each unit there will be a quiz. All right, quiz requires lockdown browser, which keeps you from looking at other tabs while you're taking it. And so make sure you've downloaded that sometime before you start taking this. Usually there's a link over here and it'll take you through how to do that. And then when you click on this, it will take you to the quiz. Most quizzes are 10 to 15 questions long, maybe a little more, but about like that. Okay, and cover the unit. All right. All right. And that's pretty much the format. Now, the first one, I didn't show you it because it's a little bit different. There are video lectures just like that. There are, instead of questions, we have a couple different worksheets, okay? So examples of bad science. Well, you click this video, okay, and then you've got this chart talking about different problems, and then there'll be some questions that you can answer as text entry, or you can also there are places up here where you can get a Word document or a PDF and then submit those documents. Okay, so just have some questions about that, kind of getting used to that. All right. There's a carrot reading, which is a very short paragraph article. You read it and then answer one essay question, and then there's a video called "The Trouble of Science," and you read that and basically tell me a little bit about it. Okay, so very basic, simple. So you have those instead of the questions and stuff like that, like you do on the others. You do not have a pivot lab on this one, and then you just have the quiz. So kind of start off easy, and then we start working in the pivot labs and doing a little more to it. But once you get past the first unit, that's pretty much it. You'll have the outlines of the notes, the lecture videos, you'll have some demos, you'll have the questions that are due each week, and the pivot lab, and then finally the quiz. So things you need to get done. You have about 3 to 4 days for each one of them, so don't let them creep up on you. All right, exams will be over those chapters. They tend to be from 50 to 70 something questions. The final exam will be a little bit longer. Okay, can't take you that, let you look at it. Sorry about that, but there you go. After 4, after unit 8, there's that. There will be a extra credit assignment, which we'll talk more about later, but sometime after the 3rd exam, there will be an extra credit article. It'll either be on microwaves or cold article. I haven't decided yet, but it'll be one of those. It will be a summary article. You have the article. I don't need you to make a English paper with a theme and an introduction and all that. No, you're just summarizing, telling me what's in the article, and we'll talk more about that later. But anyhow, that will be for extra credit. It will go toward your lab grades. Okay, and then finally you will have the fourth exam, the grand finale, and I will have a course evaluation. But overall, that should be enough to get us going for the start of the year. Like I said, anywhere along the way, make sure you get in touch with me. It never hurts to ask. When in doubt, ask if you have a question, and probably odds are other people need to know also. All right, or if there's an issue with the web page, these things happen, so let me know so I can get it fixed where it'll work for everybody. All right. Other than that, looking forward to having a great year, and looking forward to seeing you, well, not in person, but online in person. All right. Have a great day and a great semester.